Do you ever just think, I should start a YouTube? I've had this tinkering in my mind for a while, and I just decided to go for it. So I just want to introduce myself. My name is Cassie. I live in North Texas, and my crazy hobby right now that I've just dove headfirst into is cut flower gardening. And I just wanted to share what I'm doing because I've scoured YouTube for cut flower growing, and there are a lot of really great resources for cut flower gardening, but I haven't seen many specifically for North Texas or Texas in general. I've seen some, but not a lot. And so I just wanted to put this channel out here and have you go along with what I'm doing and learn with me, and maybe you can get some good tips, or you could give me some good tips for growing cut flowers in North Texas or this area. I'm in zone 8A. Texas is a very interesting climate. It's not so cold that we get snow or heavy ice, but it's cold enough that some things don't survive over winter. We get cold snaps and some hard freezes, but lately, not so much. Climate change could be changing all of that. I might be in more temperate zone pretty soon. I just want to share with you what I'm doing. I have some very big changes ahead of me, and I want to take you along with me. So just a little bit about me. I moved to North Texas from San Marcos, Austin area about 2.5 years ago, but I actually grew up here. I didn't have a green thumb back then. I still don't have a green thumb. I have like a yellow-green thumb. I didn't really garden a lot then. I didn't have much desire to. And then I moved to, when I got into college and I got a rental home that had a yard, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give this a go. I even tried some patio gardening too. But I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give this a go. The soil in Texas, the soil in Central Texas that shit is like glue, clay. I threw out my back trying to get a shovel into that. I didn't have the means to buy a tiller. It was just, it was very hard. And I wasn't very successful. And then I moved to North Texas, and it's still clay, but I had the means to buy a little tiller. And so this last summer, I did my first real try at growing cut flowers during the hottest part of the season. Oh my gosh, middle of July, I decided to start growing flowers. I guess I just have a glutton for punishment. I was sunburned, I was sweating my butt off. I lost so many flowers to the little neighborhood critters, rabbits specifically. Rabbits. But it turned out, I got so many blooms. I got a bunch of zinnias. I got a bunch of amaranth, which I did not know got so tall. Trust your seed packet. Trust it. I've got a bunch of amaranth. I got a bunch of celosia. I got a bunch of marigolds, some cosmos, and a couple sunflowers, again, rabbits. And it was so awesome. I had the best time. I got buckets and buckets of flowers that I got to play with and I got to arrange, and it was just absolutely the best time. And at that time I had started to invest in a bunch of books, and I knew that I could grow lots of nice spring flowers if I started them in the fall. And so I started all of these seeds in the fall, and then I went out of town and I didn't water them, and they crisped up. They got crunchy, yellow-green seedlings. I'm telling you, not a green thumb, it's yellow-green. So here we are in January, end of January, and I have started some seedlings. It's a little late. I don't know if it's gonna work out once I get them in the ground, because we ramp up our temperature so fast. We barely have a spring. It's like spring temperatures right now, and it's January. I think it's like 60 degrees today. The sun is shining, it's beautiful. But I'm gonna take you into my garage where I have my seed starting station, and I'm gonna show you what I have. So this is my setup. It didn't cost a whole lot. I got the shelf, I think maybe $50 or $60, and I got 4 LED grow lights, I think for around $100. I mean, this is still like probably a mid-range setup, lower to mid-range setup. I think all in all, I spent about 150 bucks, maybe, on the setup. I had already had some trays, which you can get on Amazon. Everything here is pretty much from Amazon. These are cafeteria trays, which I use to bottom water my seedlings. And let's see, I have popsicle sticks for labels. Happy Frog soil is what I'm starting at my seed starting medium. I don't know if this is like too hot or too fertilized for seed starting, but so far my seedlings are doing really well. I'm going to turn off these pink lights so my eyes don't get blinded so you can actually see what's going on. All right, so here that's uncovered by the plastic wrap, I have Status. It's a pastel mix from Johnny's, and I didn't have great germination on this. This under here is Feverfew, and they have not come up yet. I don't really know how long it's supposed to take for Feverfew to come up. They're not coming. So one thing that was surprisingly easy to germinate for me, which I just had this idea in my mind that this was such a beautiful flower that it couldn't possibly be easy to germinate, but stalk. Oh my gosh. I mean, not a single cell is empty for this stalk, and I am just shocked, honestly. I thought it would be so hard to grow. Now, again, I am in zone 8A, North Texas. I was supposed to start these like August, September, and we're in January. So as soon as these babies are old enough to get out of these cells and into the ground, I'm going to put them there, as long as I have some ground available to put them in, but I'll get into that in a minute. So this is a grass. I think this is feathertop grass. I'll have to double check. It's a type of grass, annual grass. Next that I start to have popping up here is cup and saucer vine. Cup and saucer vine, you can use it as a cut flower. I'm not very sure how well it's going to grow in my zone. I'm planning on putting it maybe on the east side of my house so the crispy Texas sun doesn't kill it by noon. We'll see. These are black-eyed Susans. Now again, these are supposed to be hardy annuals, meaning that they can withstand some cold weather, and I should have started them in the fall, but I'm really thinking, I planted more of these because I'm thinking that I'll be okay with them. And the reason why is I started to grow some black-eyed Susan seedlings last year, again in the heat of the summer in July, and they germinated just perfectly. They were actually pretty tall. I just didn't have enough room to plant them, and so they ended up crisping up and turning yellow-green. Yellow thumb, guys. So this is actually not flowers. These are tomatoes and peppers. This will be my very first time growing tomatoes and peppers from seed. I'm very excited about this. I have been watching Roots and Refuge Farm religiously for the last year, and I have a couple varieties here that I have started that I am so excited to try just because of how passionate she is about these tomatoes. So the two that I got because of Jessica Soward from Roots and Refuge recommendation are Dr. Witchies. So I have a couple growing here, and then Brad's Atomic Grape. I also have Indigo Rose, which is a cherry tomato. It's purple with some green shoulders. Coeur de Bois tomato, which is an oxheart paste tomato. And then a Pantano Romanesco, which is a also like a sauce tomato, but it's very beautiful. It has like ridges in it. I'm excited for that. Peppers, I have Craig's Grande Jalapeno, so really big jalapenos. Serranos and arroz con pollo. Again, I'm in Texas. I eat a lot of Mexican food. I make a lot of Mexican food. The beauty about Texas is that we're so close to Mexico. These cultures kind of intermingle, and I've never, ever gone a week in my life without eating salsa in some type of form. So next we're back to the cut flowers. This is snapdragons, and I had a really tough time germinating snapdragons in the past, but I got it down this time. It's plastic wrap. The key for me is plastic wrap. Who knew? Not me, because again, yellow thumb. So you can see, look how tiny these guys are. They're so incredibly small. Eensy weensiest little seedlings. I'm not going to take the lid off of this one just because it's doing its thing under the humidity dome. But in there I have some more tomatoes that I started for my sister. And I have more stock because I saw how quickly those other ones were germinating and I just went for it. I also have more statice, which germinated beautifully. And this statice arrangement is called Sunset Mix by Floret. So I got the statice mix from Floret, Sunset Mix, which I prefer those colors to the pastel mix, and they germinated really, really well. I also have some calendula, which again, all of these are supposed to be hardy annuals, and I'm getting them started really late for my zone, so I really hope I can get some blooms before the heat kills them. We'll see. And then I have some lace flowers started over there, or Leia, but none of them have germinated, so I think I might have done something wrong, or the seeds were too old or something. So here's the kicker. I have like 6 trays of flowers and vegetables in there, and I don't even have a place to put them yet. I do. It's pending sale though. My husband and I are buying our very first home, and we're supposed to close in about 2 weeks. Now this home has a big backyard that is south-facing, and it's gonna get full sun, and I'm so very excited. I'm just so excited to have a south-facing backyard that is gonna get sun like all day long. And I have a south-facing backyard right now, but I'll show you what I'm working with. Okay, excuse the dead mess out here. We are about to move. It's winter. I have not been out here cleaning up, but this is what I'm working with as far as growing space for my current home. Yeah, it's all pool, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong. We've really enjoyed the pool, but for myself, my husband, and my dogs, we would much rather have a yard than a pool. Hey, cutting in here from a little bit later, watching this video back. The photos that I showed you from before, all of the like pretty blooms and stuff I got last summer, that was actually in my front yard because that was the only place that got consistent sun. So I tilled up the front like grass strip between my sidewalk and my yard. So I did have some growing space. You know, if the only place you can grow is your front yard and you're not in some sort of HOA that, you know, forces you to adhere to landscaping guidelines, do it. If you want to do it and that's the only place that you have to do it, do it. It worked out beautifully for me. I had bigger plans in mind than what I ended up doing. So I only had one side of my yard that actually had some flowers in it. I'm sure my neighbors were like, what the fuck is she doing in her yard right now? But it worked out. I mean, I had people walk by like, and they were like, wow, this is really pretty, even though it was very unconventional. So yeah, if the only space you have to grow is in your front yard, do it. This is 2021, man. We're killing our lawns. We're killing our lawns. So I'm just really excited to show you my journey to my new home and building a backyard from scratch. I have really great plans for this place. The beauty about this home that we're moving to is it's a blank slate. It's a clean slate. There are no foundation plantings in the front or the back. There's a patio, but there's nothing around it. There's lots of grassy area that I can just do whatever I want with my imagination. And I'm so excited to get started on these projects and show you what I'm doing along the way and hopefully show you some beautiful cut flowers. And hey, if hardy annuals start to grow for me, starting them from seed in January and planting them out in February, then maybe you can do that too, depending on, you know, if you're in North Texas area for me. Because sometimes it's planning things months and months and months and months and months in advance. That's not exactly how I roll. I'm a little bit of a fly on the seat of my pants type of gal. All right, so that's a little bit about me. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Again, this is my very first YouTube video ever, so give me words of encouragement, critique me. What do you want to see from me next? My plan is, probably show you seedling updates and what I'm getting started moving forward. Maybe some garden plans that I have for the new home. And then, yeah, I'll just take you along once we close on our home. We're pretty solid 99% sure we're going to close on time. So this will be exciting. Stick around. I'll talk to you later.